Hi, seventh grade. Happy summer vacation. I hope you guys are looking forward to a nice break from school, but will be ready to come back in the fall. I wanted to take a minute to create a video for you to go over your summer reading requirements. I'm going to send you an email with all this information, but I just wanted to make sure it was as clear as could be before you try to get started. But if you have any questions after watching this, make sure you email me. We are going to be doing a dystopian themed summer reading project this year. So hopefully you remember us talking about that in the library in the winter when we started reading City of Ember together. You also read with Miss Boyle The Giver, which is another really famous dystopian novel. If you don't remember what a dystopia is, it is the opposite of a utopia. A dystopia is a world that is extremely unpleasant. Things have went wrong, whether it's in the government or society or in the family structure, and it's become a really popular genre in young adult literature. What we're going to be doing is analyzing a couple of these stories and comparing them. So hopefully you'll remember The Giver. And because we weren't able to finish City of Ember together, you guys will each be coming home with a copy of the school's City of Ember. So your first book has already been selected for you. I'd like everybody to probably start right back at the beginning. We were only a few chapters in, but I want everybody to read City of Ember. Your second novel for I'm grabbing it right here, so I have all the books in front of me. Your second novel for the summer is to choose an additional dystopian novel. I gave you 7 different options to choose from. You can also select another dystopian novel that you may have heard of or that you research and find and want to read, and that is okay. Just make sure you reach out to me and let me know what you've selected so I can make sure that it's a book that will work for what we are trying to do. So just make sure you reach out to me and let me know. A lot of these books are part of a series or part of a trilogy. Make sure you select the first book in the trilogy. Most of them need to be read in order, so you always want to start with book 1. But you're going to read City of Ember and 1 additional dystopian novel. So we will have a total of 3 dystopian novels to compare. But I have to warn you, these are some of the most addictive books that you can read. Once you start some of these series or trilogies, you're not going to be able to put them down and you're going to want to read them all. After you've read your books, underneath that there's a list of 4 projects that I would like you to complete before we come back together in the fall. These books will be due at your first library class. I'm not sure exactly what day that's going to be just yet. We don't have the complete school calendar ironed out. But once I have a little more information about when that'll be, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. But these will be due at the start of the school year. Make sure you read and complete the books first before you start the projects. So your first project is going to be very familiar to you. If you remember, about a month ago, I asked you guys to complete a book cover challenge. We are going to use the same type of project for your first project for summer reading. So let me show you my example one more time. I had asked you to choose your favorite book and recreate the book jacket. This was my example. I chose Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I recreated it over here using photography and my children and my husband. You can use any method of your choice. So pick one of your dystopian books and you're going to recreate that cover. It could be photography, so you could do the same thing if you would like to. You could also use art, so you could draw the cover, you could paint the cover, you could use clay or Play-Doh, you could use manipulatives and build it out of Lego or use action figures. It's up to you. However you want to do it, but I want you to photograph it. Make sure that it includes the title and the author, and then send that image to me at sdowney@cdeducation.org. Your second project utilizes what's called a triple Venn diagram. I know you've used these before, but I wanted to make sure I went back over it with you so that you have not forgotten when you go ahead and try. So attached to your summer reading is a diagram that looks like this. When you use a triple Venn diagram, you are comparing 3 things. So you will be comparing the City of Ember, The Giver, and your third dystopian book. On the outside rings, you are going to be writing information that applies only to that one book. So if the red ring was for the giver, only information that has to deal with the giver would go in this ring. If the green ring represented City of Ember, only information that matched the City of Ember would go here. These inner rings, if you recall, are the overlapping of those two stories. So anything that's similar between those two books. The very central ring here is any similarities between all three books. So I want you to think about, when you fill out this Venn diagram, what do these books have in common? Think about the characters. Think about the settings. Think about the rules of the societies. What can the characters do? What can't they do? Think about how their jobs are given. Think about the parenting. Think about the outcomes of the stories. Do they end well? Do they not? All that information. You might not have room in these bubbles to give all the information you want to. It is okay to write on the back or to write on the side or to create a separate Google document if you do it online. Okay, so you're going to be comparing those three different stories. We will be using this Venn diagram later, so I want you to make sure that it is as complete as possible and it has as much information as you can possibly give me. Your third project is to use a link that'll take you to a Padlet prompt. If you've not used Padlet before, I think most of you have, but if you haven't, it is really easy to use. You're going to click on the link and it's going to take you to a website that looks like this. Your prompt is called Dystopian Desires, and underneath it in the smaller font is going to be your prompt. What I want you to do is write for me in this prompt which society out of the three books, The Giver, City of Ember, and your third dystopian society or your dystopian book, which society would you prefer to live in and why? Give me as much detail as possible. Make sure you edit your work for spelling, for grammar, for punctuation, for completeness. But when you're ready to write your response, all you have to do is click this pink circle here and a box is going to pop up. It's going to ask you to put a title. Where it says title, I want you to put your name, and then underneath is a big text box and I want you to type up your answer there. Your fourth and final project is asking you to create a book trailer for another one of your books. So use the opposite book from your book jacket. So if you make the book jacket about City of Ember, make your book trailer about your other book and vice versa. Your book trailer, I would like you to think about when you want to go see a movie in the theaters. You want to go see that movie because you've watched a really awesome trailer about it. Something captured your attention. Maybe it looked like it was an action movie, or maybe it had a really great plot line. You're going to create a trailer for your dystopian book. So I want you to think about writing a skit or a trailer. You're going to star in it, and then you're going to film it. So you're either going to film it using your camera or your phone on or the camera on your phone, You can use your iPad or another device that you have. You could use a program if you'd like to. So if you want to film a trailer using iMovie or Slidely, if you're familiar with either of those. If you do not have a device and you are not able to film this trailer, that's okay too. You can write a skit and get prepared to present it to the class when we all come together again. But I'd prefer you to try to film it and send it to me at sdowney@cdeducation.org. Your trailer needs to be at least 60 seconds long. And remember, a trailer is trying to engage your audience. You want to give them just a little bit of information about your book, enough that they're going to want to pick that book up too and read it. So you're trying to capture their attention. Okay? So we watched a few book trailers, if you remember, when we were going to have our book fair. Same idea. You're going to film just a little snapshot just to get everybody's attention. Those are your 4 projects. Again, if you have any questions, please email me. I am happy to talk you through it, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Have a great summer, and I'll talk to you soon.